It's normally really early mornings with like 10 coffees to get us going, and we see like 3 or 4 films in one day, which is really difficult in itself.
Especially when they're like heavy horror films at like 8 in the morning.
Hello everybody, the BFI London Film Festival returns on the 5th of October. Once again, Boys on Film will be covering this celebrated movie event, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, because in the coming months, well, in the coming weeks, it feels like it's going to be months. It will be, I'm sure, over a month. We're going to be sharing our thoughts on the entertainment in the programme this year. I'm your host, Phil Marriott, and joining me as always are my co-hosts, Raj Rudolph and Sean Vickers. Guys, I know it's early. We're recording this on a Sunday morning. Actually, it's not that early. It's 11:05. That's too early, though, right?
I'm feeling the post-clubbing fantasy film.
See, I didn't go out clubbing last night. I've got 2 weeks off work now to cover the London Film Festival. Very excited about this. Sean, were you out last night?
I was doing some day drinking yesterday.
Oh dear, slippery slope. What, starting at lunchtime or even earlier?
And then I did find myself in a... club's the wrong word, but I found myself in a venue and then had to leave. And I was probably home for about midnight.
Did you leave or were you thrown out?
I have been thrown out of many a club, but last night I have to say I was quite reserved and left on my own accord.
Oh, get you.
I did pull a funny old move where someone on the door said, "Oh, we're IDing everyone," and obviously none of my gang had IDs, and I just did that thing where I went, "Do you remember me, Moses?" And the guy went, "Yeah." And I was like, "None of us got IDs." He's like, "Oh, you're all old and fine. Don't wake me."
Do you know who I am?
I didn't do the "you know who I am," but I was like, "I haven't seen you for 10 years." And he was like, "Oh yeah, come in." Like, thankfully that worked because none of us had any IDs. But there you go.
I love it. Raj, we haven't seen you for a while. You've been gallivanting. You've been around the world.
Oh yeah, a little bit here, a little bit there. You know how it is.
Do you feel like you've had a little bit of a break?
Yeah, but I've missed doing film reviews, so I'm very happy that film festival season is upon us. So
that was the response I wanted. So, guys, what are you looking forward to? Overall, should we pick out our top picks? Because Raj, I spoke to you about this. We've both got about 40, 45 films that we definitely want to see, and there's quite a lot of maybes this year. I mean, usually it's probably about half of that. I probably find there's about 25, 30 films, and it's a really strong programme this year. So, should we start with you, Raj? What are you looking forward to? What are your top picks?
Sure. So I think this year I've switched up my game a little bit, and I'm looking at the distribution of films a bit more. I'm like, where are they going to end up? Is it going to end up on Mubi? Is it going to end up on Netflix? Is it going to end up on Prime? So I'm like, those are actually, if I know that they're going to those places that are easily accessible, they're not really high on my list this year. So, and it seems like there's a lot of them that we know where they're going to go. But on the flip side too, there also are some films that I cannot miss, like The Whale, which I'm sure is going to be on your guys' list as well.
Yeah.
Let's see, Brendan Fraser is already getting Oscar buzz for that.
Standing ovations all round as well. Venice, I think, wasn't it? 6 minutes standing ovation.
I'm kind of excited to see A24's new one, The Inspection. So
yeah.
That's definitely on my must-see. Horseplay kind of looked kind of really fun and gay, so I think I cannot afford to miss that. Emily the Criminal, Aubrey Plaza. I mean, I'm just seeing it because I love Aubrey Plaza. So.
We all love Aubrey Plaza. Yeah, it's all round ticks, I think, for all of us.
The male side of that, there's Harris Dickinson in Triangle of Sadness, which looks absolutely hysterical. I've been watching some clips of that on YouTube, so can't miss that. And more interestingly, too, Sarah Polley, who's one of my favorite actresses, she's making her directorial debut with Women Talking. So I'm not too sure about the synopsis of the film, but it is Sarah Polley making her directorial debut, so for that, it's on my must-see list.
There's quite a few debuts this year, which I'm quite excited about, because I think that's quite refreshing, because usually, a lot of the well-known, celebrated, directors and filmmakers get a lot of acclaim, and sometimes I think the newbies are pushed out a little bit, so it's nice to see the spotlight on them this year.
And there's also I Love My Dad, which I was able to see at South by Southwest in March. Hilarious, absolutely hilarious. So if you're looking for a nice light comedy to to contrast some of the heaviness of your normal film festival dramas, then check out I Love My Dad.
I'm with Raj actually on this one. So when I looked at the galas, I was thinking that's going to go into a lot of them are going to go into general release. So I was considering whether I'm going to use my time wisely, because like you folks, when I did my column count on the films I'd like to see, I did like a little cry. So I was thinking, because it feels like it's double the normal number.
Yeah,
so I feel like it's
absolutely.
Usually around 20ish, you get to see a lot of them, and I was still going through all of the kind of strands, and I was at 45 or 50, and I was thinking, oh my gosh. So yeah, some of the gala ones, I think I'm probably gonna sidestep, although they are brilliant. I was chatting to one of the folks from BFI yesterday, and they were saying things like Triangle of Sadness, which obviously we've all put down as a yes, will also go into general release or will be easy to get hold of. So I'm just trying to weigh that up a little bit. There's obviously The Policeman, which is getting loads of chat, which is the Harry Styles film, amongst others, which I think is of interest. I think you've called out some of the ones that I want to see. Aubrey Plaza, obviously. Aubrey Plaza. See, I haven't got my teeth in this morning, it's so early.
I don't think she can even say her own name, to be honest.
I know, it's true. And it did make me smile, actually, because as I was going down the list, and I know you two have been very diligent and had been there before I'd been there, I would look at something and go, well, that's a bit gay. And then I go and put yes, and I see that you two had already written yes.
I always put yes for the really gay ones.
Oh, what a surprise, Raj and Phil have written yes next to that. So yeah, the really interesting stuff there. There's obviously The Eternal Daughter, which is a Joanna Hogg film.
That's on my list.
Tilda Swinton, which is obviously major. We've touched on The Policeman, which I think is interesting. I was happy to see Nil by Mouth was back on the list, the classic Nil by Mouth.
I know. I want to see that on the big screen.
I haven't seen that yet, but it's always been on the list, so it's a great opportunity to just get in there and see it for the first time. Remastered, right?
Yeah.
So some great stuff. I mean, I'll be really honest with you two and with the viewers at home. I'm still digesting that Giga brochure and trying to see but there's I think it's a really stellar year, and I think all the film festivals have stepped up, whether it's Toronto or whether it's New York or whether it's South by Southwest. So a lot of things are doing the rounds, and I feel like we saw this last year with LFF and with Flair, but I really feel like it's popped this year. Like suddenly the content is there, and I think I'm gonna have to be very discerning with the list because there is so much good stuff.
I guess because the last couple of years we've had, obviously lockdown, and a lot of films weren't made or they were delayed because of COVID. So I guess it's like a backlog, isn't it, of all these films? This surge of movies that are coming at us. So I guess we've got more than usual. Do you want to hear my picks? And you mentioned...
no one cares, Phil.
So we've got 2 Pinocchio films this year. Obviously, there's one currently doing the rounds at the moment, which apparently is awful. But we've got to go for the Guillermo del Toro version, which is a lot darker. Obviously, it's like a dark version of Pinocchio. So, which I suppose it is a dark tale anyway, or it could be regarded as a dark tale. The Eternal Daughter, you mentioned that, Sean. That's definitely on my list as well. I'm surprised you didn't say Lynch Oz, the documentary about David Lynch.
Oh, Lynch Oz is definitely on my list. So well done for reminding me of that. It is firmly on the list. I will be in there for sure.
I can't wait to see that. It's a folk horror film with Noomi Rapace, who I love. I always love films that she's in. They're not always brilliant films, but she always is phenomenal as an actress. So there's that. There's also another horror film called Nightmare, which is a Norwegian pregnancy horror, which I'm looking forward to. That sounds a bit like Rosemary's Baby, so I'm not sure if it's going to be too reductive. Hopefully it won't be. There's another film with Joel Edgerton, who I think is another great actor. He stars alongside Sean Harris in a film called The Stranger, which is an Australian true crime drama. Love a true crime drama. High school queer coming of age drama set on the memoirs of Tegan and Sarah.
Oh yeah.
And also the 3rd series of Lars von Trier's supernatural hospital drama called The Kingdom Exodus.
That was also on my list, surprisingly. So there's some weird horror things that appeared on my list, and I was thinking about Phil's and get really excited about that.
Yeah.
I was a bit like, well, yeah, maybe this folk horror thing is right up my street, or maybe I'll hate it.
So it's 25 years on since it was first shown. Did you see the original series? Because I hadn't seen it, so I'm going to have to try and hunt that out. I'm not actually sure if it's still available before obviously I go into this, but I'm presuming they're just going to show 2 or 3 episodes. They normally do, don't they? Normally just show like a little preview.
And I hate to break it to you guys too, but the short films look amazing. I had to stop like 25% of the way through. I'm like, no, I'm adding more to my list. So
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I often overlook the short films, and I shouldn't, because we always touch on them, and you guys normally do more than I do. But I need to focus on those, because I don't think they should be forgotten about.
I will go through them. You're right, Raj. I will go through them. It's just the list was so scary so far. I was quite scared to open the short section.
Yeah, you should spend at least a day plotting out your schedule. So
those are really wise words, aren't they? Because I think the years that I've gone into it and not planned, I don't enjoy it as much. And I know it's obvious, isn't it? It goes without saying that if you plan it, it's more enjoyable.
Is there a party?
Oh, I hope so. I hope there's more than one. There's normally an opening and closing party, isn't there? Are we there, guys?
Absolutely.
So we get our lanyards then, or will there be a printer issue?
Okay, so yes, so make sure you subscribe to this channel, and obviously the Boys on Film coverage over the next few weeks. I'm saying it's about 4 weeks, because we've got 2 weeks of the actual festival and 2 weeks in the run up to that, where we're covering, obviously the films that we see in the press selection, which all sounds very fancy. It's normally really early mornings with like 10 coffees to get us going. We see like 3 or 4 films in one day, which is really difficult in itself. Done that before, never again.
It is not as glamorous as it sounds, especially when they're like heavy horror films at like 8 in the morning.
Do you remember when we saw Suspiria? We came out just head. It was like, what have we just seen at 7 a.m? It's crazy.
I had to take a PTO that day. I was like, I can't do this.
So make sure you subscribe, and check out all our videos. We're going to do a playlist as always, so you can just see all the films in there and just get stuck in, and let us know if you're going to the festival. Let us know if you've seen any of the films, and we'll see you there, and we'll see you here, hopefully. Guys, always good to see you, and we'll see you soon with that 10 round of coffee.
Buy us a coffee.